Keeping venomous reptiles is an unforgiving hobby, requiring proper training and lots of experience. One simple mistake can be the difference between life and death. Remember, the most venomous snake in the world is the one that just bit you. There are no venomous snakes with training wheels. Just because you see viperkeeper handle snakes a certain way does not mean you should try it too.
Well, let's see if the Angolan garter snake is interested in food. Of course it is, and unfortunately that's about all you see of them because they're semi-fossorial. Well, I'm not going to disturb the animal. I want it to eat and be healthy, so that's just the way it goes. The next up on the feeding schedule here are the cute little coral cobras. Get a morsel sort of ready. Really? Really? Oh my goodness. Alright, I'm just going to leave it there. This is obviously, it was interested in me coming over to visit, and then all of a sudden just went totally spazzo. They're all eating well. Number 2 here, it has a preference for geckos, but I'm going to try it on a pink again today. Since it's had 2 gecko meals, and see if I can change its mind. Question is, where is the little blighter? Ah, you got a messy cage.
Typical little bobblehead crazy cobra.
Alright, we'll just leave that like that. Of course, we don't want to put the water dish down on top of it. If you think it's upset now, just wait. Ah, really? Yeah, the little thing is taking swings at me. These guys might be in shed. A little milky colored. Good. Alright, alright. I haven't tried to sex them yet. I have no idea what the sex ratio is. A friend from South Africa who obviously has some knowledge of these since they're found there said that the temperature at which I incubated, they'll be mostly one sex. I forget which sex he said. Are you interested in that? Huh? It's just like your mother. You're just a little whack job, huh? Alright, so I'm going to leave it on the ground and let it find it. We're going to clean these guys tomorrow. In our discussion here off camera before we started filming was, do we take them out, clean their cage, and feed them? Or do we just feed them? I chose to offer them food. Because that's what I prefer to do, is get them to eat, or at least see if they're interested in eating, and we can always clean it in the morning. You know, we'll have to remove the pink if it's not consumed tomorrow anyway, so why not just give it a shot and disturb them as little as I can. Although they're sort of self-disturbing. Hi. Oh, yes, yes, I know, I hear you. There you go. There you go. See, just a little milky looking. Oh, we're doing the hula, grinding that poor mouse into the bottom there. You know, just a little milky. You know, they've been eating really well, like I said, so they may be going into shed, and so we'll have to see. Now, we'll feed the little ocellatus that are just growing like little weeds. They do see me as the big scary person because I was the one that force fed them for months. There we go. Oh, that was a solid strike. They do seem to prefer Mrs. Viperkeeper's to feed them because she's not quite so scary, apparently.
They have grown so big, considering that they were just little tiny worms.
And I'm just so thrilled that they're feeding on their own, so I don't have to handle them. Oh, we're grumpy, huh? We're grumpy. All right. There we go. Solid strike. That's all. We're not going to disturb the animal. You don't like scaring our snakes. Or stressing. All right. This is a bigger one.
That's a big, scary camera.
Oh,
nice.
Good strike. See, that's all it takes. We'll leave them alone. They'll eat. They have been for some weeks now. I think we're going to step up the feeding on the coral cobras and the little ocellatus to twice a week. I just want to get a little bit more weight on them, and I want to get them to the point where I can tell what sex they happen to be. Alright, so that's an update on these little guys. Well, we've pretty much worked through feeding everybody. Boomslangs generally end up last. Not for any reason in particular, it's just easier just to feed them one after another. Hi Bucky, I see you. Would you like something to eat? Bucky is generally pretty easy going as far as feeding. She will have quite a feeding response, but she's a lot more controllable than the male. Come on. Come on, girlie. I know, I see you're excited. You gotta present it the correct way, and that's the way she usually grabs it. Mid-body, and will work her way forward and then down the gullet. And then, generally speaking, she'll usually accept it head on the subsequent ones that I offer her. As you can see, she's filling out. She's still a little narrow in the front end, but she's doing much better after she's dropped her clutch of infertile eggs. That was very unfortunate. I'm sort of torn on whether I should try to breed her in September against the male or not. Again, I know he would probably like to see her coming, but for me, it's probably just better that she dumps a bunch of infertile eggs, and I don't have to stress her by moving her into another cage or moving the male in with her. And then we have the problem, if she dumps 10 or 15 Boomslang eggs that are viable, once I hatch them out, what the hell am I going to do with them? It's not like Boomslangs are a very popular species to keep anymore. They're certainly highly toxic, and the antivenin is quite expensive. I'll give you a comparison. Regular South African polyvalent antivenom, like for the Mr. Forest Cobra in the room here, or the Gaboon, that costs about $300 a vial. Okay, that's including perhaps shipping. Okay, not too terribly bad. Because Boomslang venom is very difficult to collect because they are rear-fanged and they don't have, you know, a high-pressure injection system like your forest cobra, your Gaboon viper. Collecting venom is really difficult. You get a very small quantity. Therefore, it's much more expensive to produce Boomslang antivenom than it is your regular South African polyvalent. Also, what complicates things is, even in Africa, there aren't many Boomslang bites. Boomslangs are generally inoffensive. They will go the other way. They will not be confrontational unless you corner them. So there's not many bites. So the demand for antivenom is lower than the standard South African polyvalent. Therefore, the cost is $5,000 US per vial. You probably only need one vial, but you know, to stock one vial of antivenom for a species you're keeping, you know, it's a bit expensive. Now, I have a vial downstairs in the fridge that I've had for a while. Before this, the price went way up. Hey, how you doing? I know I see you. Would you like another? Would you like another? And yeah, I see you have a piece of substrate in your mouth. Is it on your upper jaw? No, that's just your jaw. So we're going to let you swallow that, and usually she will let me know if and when she's sort of ready. The fact that she's not wiping her face on the substrate, she's a very, very, let's say, neat and tidy eater. She will wipe her face when she's done, just like, you know, she doesn't have a napkin, but she'll wipe her face on the substrate. And there we go, very nice and gently. She can be such a sweet girl, but you know, there are videos in the collection that you can go look at where she gets a bit scary because she's very hungry, and you know, she will she has a feeding response that can be quite unsettling, to say the least, because you don't want to be mistaken for a mouse, because, you know, like right now, the venom from her fangs are flowing, her mouth is full of it, and so any of the venom that's mixed with her saliva now in her mouth will get on in your skin from even the smallest teeth on the mandibles. So you definitely don't want her to chomp you now. In a defensive way, Boomslangs, if they're going to bite you in an offensive way, their mouth, it goes like 130 or 140 degrees. Now, I mean, normally you would expect it to go, you know, 45 or maybe 70, 80 degrees, but they can extend their mouth so it's really wide open, even up to 180 degrees, to make sure that their fangs hit home. So we don't want to encounter any issues with Bucky or the wacky captive-born animal over there. Now, Bucky, of course, is wild caught, so she's got a little respect and a little bit of caution when it comes to me. And this is something that I've sort of figured out over the years, is your wild caught snakes still have some inherent fear of you. Captive born snakes, like that whack job over there, has no fear of me because he's known me since he's hatched. Therefore, you know, he is a bit more aggressive with me, and you know, it's the same thing with Elvis, has no fear of me. You know, the black mamba that nailed me again was a captive born snake that had no fear of me. So, you know, having captive born animals and not wild caught doesn't necessarily improve the situation. Well, Maya, we are puffy today, huh? Are you ready? Now, notice as I've been talking, I've been monitoring her progress, because whenever you're feeding the Boomslang, you want to make sure that you have something ready to shove in their face if they come at you in a hyper feeding response. But in this case, I think Bucky might be done. So, going around the corner, I can't really see her. I know she's burping a lot. I see that piece of substrate. I will try to get the substrate out. Not that it really matters. Well, she sees it and it's like, hey, leave me alone. I can do this on my own. Yeah, it's out. It's below her chin. You want one more for the road, huh? You want one more for the road? That's all I'll give you this week, is 3. She may not want 3.
Yeah, she's wiping her face.
Okay, so she's done. And someone else will get the spoils here. Since it really wasn't in the cage with her, so I can give it to somebody else who might want it. Like this Bothrops here. It may be a little cold, but I've never known these guys to refuse unless they're in full shed. So that is a common lancehead. That's the yellow or golden phase from the Venezuela locality. This is in there because there's possibility she could be gravid. So we don't want little Bothrops roaming all around the floor here.
No, thank you.
So now let's go and visit the male Boomslang. Well, I'm just going to vacuum whatever you give me up, because I've been off feed for the past probably 6 weeks. It's breeding season for Boomslang, and I'm sure he was detecting Bucky's breeding status from the other room, but I've decided not to breed Boomslangs. Although I really want to, babies are just difficult to find homes for, and you know, Bucky gets all stressed out when he's you know, being incessant, wanting to breed. So I'm just going to keep them separately for now. Bucky may pop out some unfertilized ova later in the year, but that's okay. He is hungry now all of a sudden. It's like, okay.
Gimme, gimme, gimme.
Yep. You know, it's not my fault. I offered him food during that 6-week period, and he chose not to eat.
Wasn't interested.
Nope, wasn't interested. So now he's gonna eat everything in sight to make up for it.
Yes, and I'm not moving because I do not want a repeat of being chased across the room.
Yes, well, I'm watching and making sure I can have something that I can stuff into his mouth right away. See, that Jararaca's got the mouse, and the other one is out looking around and seeing what happened to it.
It's right in front of you, dude. A little to your right. No, you're going the other right. You're going the wrong way.
Normally that snake lives on top of the hide, and it normally eats on this side, so I'm thinking it's like, oh, well maybe it's over here. Well, maybe not too. He's really chewing this one up. This will be his last one for today. She's figured out what the other right is.
Sort of.
I'm looking. Oh, there it is. It's way over there. I was going to give Slinky a drink of water when I'm done with him.
Oh, she found it, or he found it. Excuse me. Sorry, dude.
Alright, that one's taking you some time, huh, bud? Oh, he doesn't eat. He's just been chewing one end to the other.
Tenderizing?
Yeah. Certainly pushed a lot of venom into it because, you know, their venom is not like your typical pit viper. It sort of flows continuously down the groove in their fangs. So I'm sure that one got quite a load of venom, although it was already dead. Oh, I see your head coming up for a view. And swallow it. I'm not going anywhere unless you chase me. See, that's why I was holding very still, because, you know, Boomslangs are sight feeders, and you don't want to be in their line of sight.
Yes, I learned that the hard way.
Okay, so...
And you're just finishing up on yours?
You can look over my shoulder. Hello, Slink. I bring water, no food. Here you go, bud. This is something I've done with Slinky since I got him like in 2005. You know, I think he got injured in the wild. His jaw is sort of slacky on one side, and that seems to be all that he wants. And it's never fun staring a mamba in the face, so we'll get out of there.
Yep, and look who's... Wait.
Yes, he got all he's going to get for the day.
He's still very pretty, has some beautiful color, but yeah, it's looking more and more like he's eventually going to go all black like Bucky. And it's such a shame because, oh, he was really spectacular when he was younger. If he'd sort of stay in this phase, that would be quite beautiful. Alright, so long.